Aloha mai kako, and welcome to ThinkTech Hawaii. My name is Walter Kawaiaea, your host for today's first show entitled Ukulele Songs of Hawaii, where each month will feature the traditional music of Hawaii along with its visual companion, the hula. We look forward each month with having guest musicians, dancers, and hopefully even kumuhula, who will share their stories about their journey and why they have chosen to dedicate their lives to this beloved art of music and hula. Joining me today as my special guest is my wife of 47 years, Luana Kawaiaea. But before we talk story with Luana, let me first tell our viewers a little bit about myself. I was born and raised here on Oahu, lived all my life here in Hawaii. I guess you could say I was born in the territory. And my musical legacy began at the age of 14. So, give you some background. I attended a private high school, St. Louis High School, and it was in my sophomore year that the renowned kumuhula John Lake, who is no longer with us, who at the time was teaching Spanish, and there was a call out towards the end of one of the school days saying that all interested young men who wanted to learn how to sing and play traditional Hawaiian music would come on a certain night that week, but we had to bring one of our parents. Of course, none of us could understand why we had to bring our parents. Of course, at my age today, I understand why. Anyway, so I was so excited. There were about 11 or 12 of my classmates, and one of them, George Helm, who he and I were good friends at the time. So we brought our parents, we came that night, and the instruction was going to be by the iconic, legendary, traditional musician, Kahauanu Lake. And so Kahauanu Lake came that night, we were all anxious. But of all of us that were there were only two that actually played an instrument, George and another fellow by the name of Charlie Maderas. Of course, I didn't play any musical instrument, loved Hawaiian music like all of us did back then. Anyway, fast forward, we managed to get through the rehearsals, and what John Lake had wanted to do was, I'm not sure if St. Louis ever had a May Day program prior to 1966, but this was going to be the first May Day program in a long time. And so we practiced, and of course, back back during that period, we had the sister schools, Sacred Hearts, St. Francis, and Star of the Sea. They were all part of a group that at that time was called the St. Louis Glee Club, which initially started in my freshman year as an all-men choir, Glee Club rather, but then it expanded to invite the girls from these three sister Catholic schools. Anyway, it was from this pool of students that Kumu Lake and was going to put on a show with his Kumu, which at the time was Auntie Mikey Ayu Lake. Um, and Kahauanu came up to teach those of us, 11, as I said, that wanted to learn how to sing and play traditional Hawaiian music. Well, fast forward, we managed to get through I believe the outcome of the May Day program was a success. They were all there at the performance, and when it was through, Kahauanu came up to me and says, this summer, and in those days, summer, unlike today, summer was actually 3 full months, June, July, and August. Returned back to school in September. He said, during the summer, I want you to come to my home every day. And that was 7 days a week. Now, this is the time when the Kahauanu Lake Trio was playing regularly at the old Halekulani Hotel, house without the key. And they played Wednesdays through Saturdays, I believe, from 6 to 8 p.m. And so even on those nights, Wednesdays through Saturday, I was at his home from 8 in the morning until, I forget when the cutoff point was, maybe 4 o'clock, and go home. But Sunday, Monday, and Tuesdays, I was there at his home from 8 in the morning till well past midnight. And, we had, oh gosh, occasions. I mean, I remember the first lesson I came, I had my tape recorder, I had my notepad, pens, I was ready to take notes. The first thing, before he even started, of course I had my ukulele, but the first thing he said to me was, don't ever bring that recorder back again, and don't take notes. I just want you to listen. So I did. And so on those first several nights, I remember we went till 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'd go home and I'd stay up for several hours trying to write down as much as I could recall. And so that whole summer went that way. It literally changed the course of my life. I was being introduced to not just Hawaiian music, but I was being introduced to a whole world of Hawaiian culture via this iconic figure. So I remember, after that experience in my junior and senior year is when George and I really focused in on putting this group together and now really establishing lessons. Got my first kamaka, a baritone ukulele, learned how to play, and we can fast forward some 46 years later at Uncle K's passing, which was in the year 2012. I had been with him. He was my mentor. Some people said, you should write a book about mentoring, because literally he mentored me from nothing to learning how to play the ukulele and to appreciate the music and the value, the olelo, the pronunciation, the stories, the composers, and everything that goes with traditional Hawaiian music. And so my life has been enriched through this experience, and the intention, like I said earlier, in introducing ukulele songs of Hawaii, we want to continue that perpetuation of my musical legacy. And I did look up, by the way, the word legacy, the definition, and it literally means the handing down of. And that was what Uncle K, or as we fondly called him, Papa K, did for me. He handed down, he was in his mid-30s when he handpicked me and George to train and to pass on this legacy. And so I guess there's a lesson in there that for those of us at our age now, if we have skills, whether it be within our confines of our own family, with our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, or just individuals that we see perhaps that we feel inspired to, we have to pass on. And much of this is being done, you see it right across the board in the Hawaiian culture, whether it be through the Polynesian Voyaging Society, what that has done for so many young people that, not everybody wants to play music and dance hula. That's the honest truth. And so having other facets of the culture, whether it be lapa'au, the healing of the herbs, whether it be the ba'a, the canoe, there's a lot of ways that our young people can engage in other facets of the culture. So, it's a wonderful thing. So, um, my life has, as I mentioned, my life has been really enriched because of the opportunities that playing music has exposed me to. Uh, I was able to be employed at Hawaiian Airlines for a period of time, and through that experience, traveled all over the world, playing music, playing Hawaiian music, and watching the reception of how people really embrace it. And it's no different today. People love Hawaiian music. They love the hula. They love the culture, and the respect level of that is, hopefully given because those of us that embrace the culture, embrace the music and the hula, do it in such a way that we give class and elegance to the music and the hula that we're performing. For those of you that perhaps may have just joined us, we are here at ThinkTech Hawaii, and my name is Walter Kawaiaea, your host for Ukulele Songs of Hawaii. Today's episode is entitled A Musical Legacy. And so I just want to share that opening song that we did and why we chose that song. That literally was the first song that Kahauanu Lake taught to me that first day at his home, Ukulele. It was all being played all over the airwaves. That song had just come out in 1964, so it had climbed the musical charts, I guess we can call it, in Hawaiian music. And so it was the first song that he chose to teach to me. There's stories that I can share, but we'll reserve that for a later time. But Ukulele was chosen to present who we are. So my wife and I, as I mentioned earlier, we've been married now for 47 years. So going on 47 years. We have 3 wonderful children. We have 5 fabulous grandchildren, and we actually have 1 great-grandson who has tons of energy, and we love him dearly. So I just appreciate the opportunity that has been given to me and this platform and this format here at ThinkTech Hawaii to promote ukulele songs, traditional music of Hawaii, and the hula. And we'll talk later about my upcoming songbook publication that hopefully I'm in the midst of negotiations with Kamehameha Publishing, and we'll keep our fingers crossed and everything goes well. Hopefully we'll be able to work with those people. Again, we are at ThinkTech Hawaii. My name is Walter Kawaiaea, and you're listening to A Musical Legacy, Ukulele Songs of Hawaii. And we'll be right back with our special guest, the charming Luana Kawaiaea.
Aloha, I'm Wendy Lowe, and I'm coming to you every other Tuesday at 2 o'clock, live from ThinkTech Hawaii. And on our show, we talk about taking your health back. And what does that mean? It means mind, body, and soul. Anything you can do that makes your body healthier and happier is what we're going to be talking about. Whether it's spiritual health, mental health, fascia health, beautiful smile health, whatever it means, let's take healthy back. Aloha.
Hello, I'm Dave Stevens, host of the Cyber Underground. This is where we discuss everything that relates to computers that's just going to scare you out of your mind. So come join us every week here on ThinkTechHawaii.com, 1 p.m. on Friday afternoons. And then you can go see all our episodes on YouTube. Just look up the Cyber Underground on YouTube. All our shows will show up, and please follow us. We're always giving you current, relevant information to protect you, keeping you safe. Aloha.
Aloha mai kākou. Welcome back to ThinkTech Hawaii. I am your host, Walter Kawaiaea, for Ukulele Songs of Hawaii, a musical legacy. And joining me today is for our first show is our guest, my special guest, my best friend, my music partner, my solo hula dancer, favorite cook, confidant, wife, eternal companion, mother, grandmother, and yes, great grandmother. I know she doesn't look like a great grandmother. How about a warm welcome for Luana Kawaiaea?
Aloha.
Thank you. Thank you, Luana, for being with us and joining me on our first show today. So, Luana, why don't you share with the audience, a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and your background, and I'll let you just kind of take the story to how we met.
Okay.
And you can tell your version, and I'll tell my version.
Okay. I was originally from the Big Island of Hawaii, North Kohala, and after living there all my life, I come from a very, very large family. Small family as far as my brothers and sisters, just 3 of us. But my mother was the 4th in 14 children. So I had a lot of aunties and uncles and cousins all over in Kohala, and so it was the most wonderful place to grow up. Shortly after graduating from high school, I came down to Honolulu because I wanted to be able to do something that I've always desired to do, and that was to be a stewardess. It was called stewardess in those days because they didn't have male flight attendants. They had just female. So I started working at Hawaiian Airlines, and about 1.5 years into flying, I was called by the promotion department, sales promotion department for Hawaiian Airlines, to ask if I sang and danced, because that's what I put on my resume, and I had forgotten I had done that. I said, yes, but they didn't realize that I only sang in the choir at church, and my only dance experience was at May Day program. So then I said, well, what do I have to do, and what is this about? And they said the sales promotion team travels all over promoting Hawaiian Airlines with big carriers throughout the world, and then when you come to Hawaii, you fly on Hawaiian Airlines. I said, well, it sounds very interesting. Well, what do I have to do? And they said, well, you have to go to an audition. I said, an audition? So I said, okay, when will that be? They gave me a month to get ready for my audition, and I quickly learned 3 different popular songs and hulas at the time to be able to try and hopefully impress them. So I didn't realize at the time that I did go for my interview or my audition that I was being auditioned by the famous Andy Cummings. Andy Cummings, the composer of Waikiki and many wonderful songs. Yeah. So I had a wonderful experience there, and evidently he must have liked what he saw because they called me back a week later and said that I was on the promotion team, and I was on the promotion team for a good 7 years. And I traveled throughout the world dancing for Hawaiian Airlines and promotion to Hawaii.
Well, let me just interject here. So by that time, well, of course, I started my career in the airline industry working at Aloha Airlines, which unfortunately is no longer with us. And I think I worked there for about 3 years. And I forget exactly when it was, but I remember George Helm, because George and I were playing music at the time. George got hired to work in visitor sales, which was located in the Waikiki office. And of course, we know back in that era of time, we're talking about the early 70s. This is before the airline industry had become deregulated. And so it was friendly competition. Anyway, I got hired, and I had to go through the same process as she did, and with the same iconic figure, Mr. Andy Cummings. Andy Cummings actually was at the head and pretty much ran the promotion team for Hawaiian Airlines. And I remember I came in one day having to wear a 3-piece suit, coming in to get my interview with the director of visitor sales. And then I was told to come back on, a few days later, bring my ukulele, and I would have to perform before Andy Cummings. And so I remember as Luana did, but, fortunate for me, I was being trained already by Papa K. So I was confident in that, and of course, Andy recognized the strum and the similarities, and so, needless to say, I was offered the position and hired, and went on my first promotional tour. You remember that?
Yes.
Yes.
When we met, you mean?
Yes, this is how we met.
No, we don't have to describe that.
I won't be as descriptive
No, please don't.
To those of my friends that actually know this story. But anyway, so you have to imagine this. By that time, when I came into the picture, she at that point had become one of Hawaiian Airlines, if not the top promotion girl, which pretty much meant that there were posters, I mean, life-size posters, all over as you walk through Waikiki and different travel agencies and wholesale travel agencies, you would see posters. I mean, HVB posters. Well, some of the other airlines that we did business with, international carriers, they had their posters. And I would see her poster. Well, my first day on the job at Hawaiian, I remember walking into the office and literally, I mean, I'm probably over exaggerating, but from wall to wall, it was this person. Now, we hadn't met yet, and it was her. And, she had long flowing hair, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought, and then there were newspaper articles. And of course, I was only 20 years, I think I was 19 years old when I started at Hawaiian. And of course, I was, when you're 19, you think you know it all, and you don't know anything. And so you walk, proudly with your nose kind of little upward. And I thought to myself, wow, who is this person? Why is she all over the walls, these posters? Well, I remember I got my first promotion assignment to go to New York City. This was during early December, and it was just myself and George. We were flying to, Hawaiian had an office in New York at the time, simply to play for a few hours at their Christmas party. Yeah, at their Christmas party. And so, Luana came, and that's how we met. And I mean, this is not part of the show or musical legacy, but that's how we met. And, it started from there. And because of her talents in hula dancing and performing, it just became a match. And we can fast forward to where we are today. She came into my life. We were married, and she began to be taught singing by Uncle Kay. And so our group today is known as the Kahauanu Lake Singers. Well, unfortunately, Luana, there's a lot more stories we can share. We could go on, but our time is running out. And so on behalf of ThinkTech Hawaii, I'm your host, Walter Kawaiaea, for Ukulele Songs of Hawaii, and our first segment today is entitled A Musical Legacy. We're going to do something unconventional here, and we're going to send our viewers and our listeners out today with the music of the Kahauanu Lake Trio, a song that became their signature song on their first album entitled Hawaiian Style. This song is entitled Pua'ahihi, that takes us to this island, to the district of Nu'uanu, and the place Lanihuli, that speaks of the beautiful ahihi blossom. Again, on behalf of my wife, Luana Kawaiaea, yours truly, Walter Kawaiaea, and Ukulele Songs of Hawaii, thank you for joining us here at ThinkTech Hawaii. Enjoy the musical sounds of the Kahauanu Lake Trio and Pua'ahihi.